Welcome back everybody to another episode of Planet Zoo. Today we are building an African penguin exhibit right outside of our capybara corral. That name was suggested by Haley on our last video, and I really liked it, so I think that's what we're gonna go with. So the idea behind this penguin exhibit is going to be that on one side you have an underwater viewing portion, and then on the other side you're gonna have the land portion where they're gonna have their shelter and the zookeeper entrance. So right now I am designing the water side. So it's gonna be kind of a pool type shape with rounded corners that kind of butts up next to the path. Several windows in there just for the guests to be able to view inside. And now it's kind of a tricky angle, so getting those corners to line up was pretty tough. I do go back and fix that eventually. Thanks for all the comments on the last video. I know it was a little rushed out on my part, I think. I was editing it at midnight because I wanted to get it out this earlier this morning. And I left the audio track for the sped up version, so that's what all that little squeaking was. So if you watched that video all the way through, thanks for doing that. And if you plan on watching this video all the way through, leave a comment, like and subscribe, do all that stuff. You're gonna have fun here, I promise. We're making zoo videos all the time. Sometimes it's dinosaur zoo videos, sometimes it's normal animal zoo videos. I'm addicted to zoo videos. So now in order to get this watertight, you do have to hide glass in the construction bits. I was really hoping that you didn't have to do that, but that was the only way I could get it to, so pretty sure that's the right way to do it. And now because I couldn't get that lined up perfectly, I just put a little column there to kind of round that sharp edge out. Now working with this big hump in the middle kind of made it difficult to work with the terrain. Once you put down the barriers, it kind of locked a lot of stray bits of terrain to act weird and stuff like that, which is always fun to deal with and try to figure out. And you'll see the keeper gate was causing me a lot of trouble with this build, but eventually we got it. And then again, I decided to work with a really obscure angle here, which also made it fun to try to cover up. But once again, eventually we got it. So for this side of the exhibit, this will be the terrestrial side, I guess we'll call it. I'm just using the regular chain link fence. I think it looks pretty nice, especially for penguins. You don't need anything that strong or really that tall. And I might go through, I didn't do it in this video, but I might go through and add maybe some shrubbery in front of the fence to kind of tie it in a little better. Now I'm just kind of struggling with that fence to try to get it to hold the penguins in, because I'm pretty sure they could escape the top of that. We don't want any of that happening. I also spent the time to make this beautiful little fountain, and I didn't want them to kind of distract too much from that, so I moved the fence back a little bit. Now here you can see some of the terrain is glitching out, and that's because of the barrier. So what I had to do was delete some of the pieces, delete some of the barrier, and eventually I got it all to work out. Now here I was kind of struggling to figure out what kind of shape we were going to have for the keeper gate, since I couldn't get it right where I wanted to. And I just did not want the keeper gate to be right in that position, because when you're walking up to the capybara corral, that's like the first thing you're going to see, and I didn't really like that too much. So later in the video, I do edit that to kind of hide it a little bit better. And then unfortunately, I thought these guys needed a little more grass than they actually did. Apparently they're like almost all sand and soil. So it does kind of leave a barren, kind of brown hump in front of our lush, nice greenhouse, but it's not too bad. Now here I'm just going to build a little rock shelter using the same tundra rocks as what's around our greenhouse. Just kind of a small one. They probably don't need one really, but I think it just adds a little more visual interest to just this sandy pit that we've made for them. And unfortunately, they don't even really like any vegetation, which is unfortunate. They kind of makes it a little bare. That's why I'm adding this big tree as kind of for the sightline right there, to make sure we have something back there just to kind of fill that space. Now we're kind of taking the staff path and hiding that a little bit more out of the way. Now we're kind of blending it in with this kind of like dead wood, rocky feel that the greenhouse has. Throwing in some donation boxes because I always forget to put those in. Also in the capybara exhibit and the sloth exhibit. And now I'm going to tackle the keeper gate again. Just because, yeah, like I said earlier, I didn't like that position. So I knew I was going to have to demolish quite a bit of it to get it where I wanted to. And unfortunately, I had to take away quite a bit of the hill. Also, so the hill is a little skinnier than I would have liked it to be. But ultimately, I got the keeper gate where I wanted it. So it worked out in the end. And I tried everything, even these big ones. So I was really trying hard not to mess up the terrain, because I know like sometimes you can trap little air bubbles that'll get caught and kind of mess you up forever. So I was really trying to be light on the terrain tool and only adjust what I needed to. So here you can see I'm trying to adjust it as close to that box I just created as possible. But unfortunately the keeper gate kind of makes it so you can't. So I filled that area with rocks just to kind of balance it out from the rocks on the other side. And I think ultimately it looks pretty good. Unfortunately, this tree apparently was adding too much coverage. I thought coverage only really happened when it was in the exhibit, but apparently it's also if they can see it or if it hangs over a little bit. But I decided the penguin's just going to have to live with that because to me, the sight line for the visitors is more important than what our penguins have to deal with. Now I'm just going to add some bedding and some rocks to kind of flesh this cave out. Now I'm going to adopt a couple more penguins. His social health was not doing so great, and these guys live in packs? Packs? Or herds? Or flocks, since they're birds. I guess it'd be a flock of penguins. Anyway, flocks of 6. So I'm going to adopt at least 6 eventually. There you can see I put little nests down. I don't really know how these guys lay eggs, but I would imagine they lay them in a nest. And now here's a hack I actually discovered, is that zoo entrance gates can actually be used as power. And so one of the constant things I've been struggling with is my generators going out. yeah. So here is the happy little penguin in his exhibit. Here's one swimming, a couple of them swimming actually, doing a little flip. And now I'll walk you through the exhibit. So I think it fits the kind of naturalness that I was going for with this greenhouse. And then on the other side, you have our water pool viewing area, and you can see all of the crowds crowding around, watching them swim around. And with that, I ask, like and subscribe. Stay tuned next time, because we got videos come in all of the time. Let me know what you want to see next, actually. I don't have any ideas yet.